Well, all right. Happy Friday, everybody. Good evening. Nice to see a rambunctious crowd assembling out there in chat land. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see y'all. All right, we're going to have some fun tonight. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? So we've got a few things to chat about. I'm going to announce the recipients of the Open Dark Sky selection process. So we'll talk about where we'll be sending these things. I'll finally get these off my desk and we'll get them sent out to folks. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk just briefly about some field day stuff. Make sure everybody's ready. I know that Ham Nation did a big field day stream here just a couple of nights ago. We're not gonna rehash all the good work that they've already done, but we will talk about a few things. But the thing that we'll talk about more so than the ARRL field day activity, we're going to talk about the AMSAT field day activity. So AMSAT has a defined set of rules and gamification for field day that runs parallel to what the ARRL does. So we're going to talk about that. You know, a lot of people don't really talk about that. I'm not sure. Maybe a lot of people don't know about that. But we'll spend a little bit of time talking about that. And then, you know, we'll see how we're doing. Something else I would like to chat about is give you guys an update on a story that I talked about back in August, almost a year ago. Man, that's hard to believe that I've been at this for almost a year. First of all, we're going to have some sort of 1-year celebration coming up. But you guys may recall early on, for those of you who were tuned in those first few streams, I talked about the evil face of ham radio. And I was talking about a company called AST SpaceMobile. These are kind of, this is a space-related company that doesn't have the best reputation in terms of playing well with others in terms of radio spectrum. So we'll see. We'll see how spicy we feel a little later this evening. We might get into that. That could be fun. All right, let's see. Nice to see a lot of folks in green out there. Ed, I see you chatting away. Nice to see you, Ed. Gray Man. Tim, thanks for joining. Good to see you out there, buddy. Bill was out there first. You know, Bill's like the first to every stream, I think, these days. So I'm a little jealous, and good for Bill. Let's see who else is out there. Tim, nice to see you out there. Welcome, buddy. Doc Brad, good to see you as well. All right. Frank, I see you out there. Hello, Frank. Thanks for bringing folks along. I appreciate that. All right. Yeah, we're getting a good crew here. Greg, good to see you out there. I saw you complaining about all the money you're spending on satellites, ham radio satellites. That's a good thing, right? That's a fun part of the hobby. It's a good thing. Keeps you young. I think that's the key. All right. Oh, I see. Bill got kicked from the throne. It looks like Ed. Ed was chatting away up there. I saw Ed. He had like rapid fire messages. So that usually takes the cake until somebody starts dropping super chats and stuff, and then those people are riding high. But good to see you all out there. Hope you guys had a good week. Let's see. I have a few things to share. Just a couple, not many, from a this and that perspective, we'll jump on into that. Of course, I always like to start off with a little housekeeping coming into the into this and that. And boy, let me get my, there we go. We'll make a couple quick mentions here. I always like to mention the community list. This is my email list. This is where I share information about the channel. This is how you get signed up for giveaways. Certainly, we're going to do a 1-year celebration giveaway on the channel. And that's coming up here just before you know it here. So toward the end of summer, that will be on the docket for sure. But if you want to stay in touch and know what's going on with the channel, get an occasional newsletter where I put some additional coupon codes, discount codes, those types of things. That's another good source for those types of things for all of you folks who support all of us ham radio YouTubers in that manner. It is greatly appreciated. The other thing I'll mention here real quick, and I guess before I get off of that, I should tell you guys where that is. You'd think this is my first night doing this. And Bill, I don't think, Bill, are you slacking on me? Oh, no, of course not. Bill's not slacking on me. Bill had me covered. But right there, just use that bitsy/CL, and that'll get you to the community list. Very similarly, the bitsy/DR will get you to my linktree. This is where you'll find all kinds of goodies out here. Some of the t-shirts and bumper stickers and those types of things that I like to do. Again, some affiliate links and discount codes are out here. There's another location here. Oh, something I should mention, right? We've got Amazon Prime right around the corner, so I'll be updating all these links for Prime Day. And then another source, I know Tim's publishing these in a few different locations, but another source to grab radio guides. And Tim does a great job in keeping those up. So that is fantastic. Let's see, Gray Man, as your internet appointed attorney, allegedly. Oh yeah, that's probably a good point. That's probably a good point. I'll try to do that. I wish I could do like a just make a statement at the beginning and say, you know, any reference to X is preceded by Y, and then I don't have to worry about it, right? It's known, it's given, it's expected. I think that's the way that should work. Hey, Brian, welcome. It's good to have you here. It's good to see you out there. Let's see. Our not so local AMSAT ambassador. Bob, where are you at? 7 call. Where are you at, Paul? Or Bob? Yeah, I'm not. That's the beauty of the internet, though, right? I might not be local, but I kind of am. All right, let's see. What else do I have to share with you guys here? Oh, let me jump over to, let me see. I got to get some organization going here. Of course, I was doing stuff at the last minute. I don't even bother telling you guys that anymore because I think it's expected at this point. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some this and that items. We can get rid of that. So, you know, last week we had a great DFW Ham Expo here in the Metroplex over Louisville area, and boy, it was a lot of fun. And here you can see me and some of the crew were celebrating a great ham fest at a very conveniently located cigar shop, actually just right across the way, kind of in the same. The Ham Expo is takes up a portion of a mall, right? And I think this is pretty much the case nationwide, right? Malls certainly aren't what they used to be. Certainly not what they used to be in the 80s. But, so uh, you guys know how all this stuff works, right? You've got a mall and then you've got all these little, um, you got all these like little feeder stores that are clingers on. What are they're barnacles? They're kind of like barnacles, right? Or what are those little fish that follow sharks around, right? You got this great big shark, and then you got a bunch of these little fish that feed off of it. That's what I always think about, those stores that are kind of strewn around a mall. So this cigar store was a barnacle, I guess you could say. We'll call it that. But it was fun. We had a good time. Nothing to complain about there. It was a lot of fun. And this was probably my favorite picture that I took there at the Ham Expo. You guys may have seen this. I posted this on one of the platforms. I can't remember where, but you guys may recall. I talked about whenever I got the Carlson roof tower. I talked about using a system from American Earth Anchors, and they have all kinds of systems for you to anchor towers, masts, right? Just about anything you can imagine. Big party tents, whatever it is. But we came across the big boy. This is they had a set of 3 of these. I didn't ask how much they were because they're ridiculously huge. I mean, you can see, 4 foot at least, and, girthy indeed. Those things, now they're aluminum, so they weren't super heavy. So that was the good news. But, man, those things were huge. But this is kind of on the top end of American Earth Anchors, and somebody was selling them. They had a few of them there at the Hamfest, and somebody was selling them. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. Girthy. Hey, Seth, welcome. Nice to have you out there. John, I see you snuck in there as well. Hopefully things are well in Ohio. Pilot fish. I think that might be the right term, Jason. I think you nailed it. But yeah, so Frank just can't pass up a photo opportunity, and I certainly can't let it slide by. I'm going to snap that picture every time. It was funny. There were other people that were saying, hey, wait, I want to get that picture too. There was a couple other guys that snapped that picture too. So that was fun. All right, let's see. What else do I have? Oh, let me toss this out there as well. You guys may recall I have a bumper sticker out there called Monitoring Longfast. I don't know why I hadn't thrown this on a t-shirt yet, but I threw it on a t-shirt. I wanted to see how it would print, how it turned out. I got one in this week, and it actually looked pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. So I'm going to be putting that up in the bitsy/dr linktree if that's something you're interested in. You can also get out of here, little bug. It's summertime. I don't know about you guys, but here in Texas, the bugs have arrived. But anyhow, yeah, if you're rocking Meshtastic and you want folks to know that you're on Longfast, that's a fun way to share that and support the channel at the same time. All right, let's see. Let me get my chat back over here. Oh, I always forget I got to move this over to live chat because I'm probably missing somebody. It's funny how that Cooley, for some reason, is the guy that always gets filtered out. Oh, and look, there's Cooley. Tag on it. Hey, Cooley. Good to see you out there, buddy. Actually, Cooley was first. Holy smokes. I see that now. Yeah, that's such a drag. I always have to remember to move that from top chat to live chat because a few people get filtered out. So sorry about that, Cooley. Jody, welcome. Jody, let me switch back to see top chat. No, you stuck in there. So somehow It's poor Cooley. I'm sure there's some other folks too, but yeah, that's I don't get it. All right, let's see here. Yeah, top versus live is annoying for sure. Okay. Well, let's see here. Field day. We're going to talk a little bit more about field day. I tell you, we're getting excited. We've had a couple of meetings, me and the crew that are doing field day together. We're going to be over at a state park here in northeast Texas. So about 3 hours away here from my QTH. And it's always fun to get together and talk about it's funny, right? The first topic is always food. And you know, we talked food for a little while, and then we got to radios and antennas and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm really looking forward to it. We're all going to meet up on Thursday and get an early start of things on Thursday. On Friday, we'll probably do some setup, which means we're going to be in the operate for 24-hour category, not the 27-hour category. We can talk about that if you guys are unfamiliar with that rule. It depends on when you're going to start your setup for your field day deployment. But let's see here. Field day merch from the ARRL this year looks better than last year. The hats and shirts have some styling. I really like how they integrated. So I got the field day shirt this year. I picked it up at Hamvention, and it's it's kind of a joint marketing effort with the 250 50th anniversary of the U.S. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I agree, Jody. I think they look good. It seems like I'm trying to think. It was probably maybe either 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They had some really good logos. Consistency there is tough. It's not like we always get a great color selection or logo or something, but I agree. I think all the merch looks real good this year. They should try to stay in that vein for sure. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess we can talk. Let me find, man, I am disorganized here. Well, I tell you what, before we jump into field day, what I would prefer to talk about is, let me get swapped back over here. What I'd prefer to talk about are our winners. Let's see. How many folks do we have? Yeah, we've got about 40 or so folks. I don't think I've seen any of our winners pop up in chat yet, but that's okay. We can announce it a couple of times, I think. But just to remind you guys, so I have a couple of these open dark sky sensors that measure light pollution and a number of other environmentals that I'll be sending out to a couple of folks. So I did check earlier. We should probably do just a quick check here. I checked earlier in the week, and I still haven't seen any additional. Oh, wait. You guys may remember 16 stations is where we've been for the last couple of weeks. We now have a 17th station. Hey, looky over here. I think this is the new one. Last seen about 7 hours ago. Maybe that's it. Let me zoom out a little bit more. I'm still the only one here in North America. We're going to fix that tonight. Well, we're going to identify the folks, and then I'm going to get the stuff sent out to them tomorrow. But I think I do not recall this station in Greece. So that is cool. Let's just take a peek. Oh yeah, it looks like maybe they are new. Looks like maybe they just started this morning by the looks of things. Excellent. All right, well that's exciting. But like I said, this is a new program, and my station's been out here running for some time, but we want to get some more stations out there and contribute more data to this. So let me share. I've updated my dashboard. We got, we got about another 9 entries last week. So 45 total submissions. You can get a sense here of where those submissions are in the U.S. We did have a few people that were outside the U.S. who submitted as well. Unfortunately, these were earmarked for North America, and that was a request by the Libre Space Foundation. So we're going to honor that. And, but yeah, just a few little stats here, 4 different countries represented. You can kind of see the distribution. We had some people that had low horizon visibility, but most people had pretty good horizon visibility. Most people had pretty good solar visibility, but not everybody. And I appreciate people, sharing accurate information here, right? Because the whole idea is to really support this project and get good data out there. And the best way to do that is to put these in a location where they're going to be successful. Let's see. Frank says, love the hammers looking map. You did submit, Frank. I did see you. Are you not showing up? Let's see here. I'm not sure I know kind of where you are. You're kind of down this way, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you're right. I don't see you on there, Frank. I'll have to take a look and see maybe something happened with my parser. Could have been. Yeah, Bob, you got Vegas on the map. You were the one person on the map there, north of Santa Rosa. Gotcha. So let's see here. So San Francisco and then north. Is this you, Frank? I did get you in the entries. I certainly did. Hey, Jason, welcome. Yeah. You've been parsed. Pinned wrong on the map. Well, let's see. So I am pinning that based on, so you guys gave me your city, and and then I'm calculating the lat long on those. So I may have done something in my calculation wrong there. But by and large, I think we've got most people. I know we've got everyone represented. Their dot might not be exactly where they should be, but we've got a pretty good distribution here across the U.S. That's for sure. But here you can see, right? Most people have pretty good horizon, pretty good solar. Right? This was kind of fun to do this little web page here. Right? So lots of good stuff. Let's see. And then, well, let's see here. Here's my map, right? So these are all the entries. I pulled out the any incriminating information and just kind of gave rough locations with a 4-digit Maidenhead grid square. But this is all the data from all the entries. So I might go out there and post this on Satellite Hunter. I should probably just add this. So if anyone has any interest in looking at it, they can look at it at their leisure. Let me add a note for that. I mean, I did the work. I might as well let other people enjoy it there. And I mean, my hope, again, I've got 2 of these to give away. My hope is that when the Open Dark Sky team sees the interest that we have, that maybe we'll be able to get some more devices and get some of these out to you folks. Roger, welcome. Good to have you out there. 1/4 inch above the North Dakota, Montana, Canada intersection. Nice empty hole. Yeah, there's it is kind of interesting just to see where the viewers are coming from as well. It's kind of fun. These are kind of fun little projects. But let's see here. Yeah, again, lots of 45 entries. I was certainly happy with the number of people who showed interest, and thank you to everybody who sent their entry in and took the time to share a little bit about how you could participate in the program and, you know, how you could make it a success. I thought it was great. Lots of great answers. But let me see here. Let me see if I've got and this is some of the stuff I was trying to set up. Let's see. Anybody in Ohio? Well, we had some entries from Ohio. We certainly had some entries from Ohio. So it's good to see Ohio raising their hand and wanting to participate. But without too much further ado here, let me go ahead and share. I think I've got it right here. Drum roll, please. Where's Paul? Where's Paul when I need him? He's got the sound effect machine. I don't have all that stuff going on. And speaking of Ohio, John, our first winner is actually from Ohio. So Andy, and Andy, if you're in the chat, please pipe up, say something. But Andy, who's in Medina, and you see his call sign there, KC8YFO, had one of the winning entries. So again, some of the criteria that I used here was I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of geographic diversity, right? We've got one in Texas, right? We're going to try to fill this map out a little bit. So we've got one in Texas. Now we'll put one up here in Ohio. So, you know, that was certainly part of it. Andy also had some great information that he shared about, you know, how he is going to share this with his son, how this is a project that they can do together, which I thought was a great addition. And thanks for sharing some of that info as well, Andy. So I'm really, one of the things that we're going to do once I get these out to folks and they have a chance to get them deployed is I want to have the folks come on to the stream and you know, talk about where they put them, maybe share a photo and talk about their experience in getting this thing up and running. So you know, that's part of the whole thing here. So Andy in Ohio, I will send an email out to you tomorrow and we'll get the ball rolling. We'll get some contact information. I tried to collect the smallest amount of information that I could until we had a couple of winners. And then, you know, I'll need the addresses of the winners so we can get things shipped out to them. But yeah. Congratulations, Andy. Our first winner. Different Andy than Andy Cowley. Hey, Andy. Good to see you out there. Let's see. Oh, okay. Thanks, Frank. I'll check that out here a little later. Let's see. Jody said, if you're in communication with them, an update on general availability of the device for purchase would be awesome. Yeah, I'll check in. The last time that, well, one of the things that we can do, and maybe we'll do this. Maybe I'll pull this up a little bit later. Is we can check. We can check in the chat and see if they posted any new messages. I don't think they have. Let me just check real quick because I'm kind of curious now. Let me see. No, it doesn't look like there's anything new posted. Let me check one more place here real quick. Yeah, I don't think we have any news. So, but I can certainly reach out and bump the team and see if they have anything that they can share. I would love to get somebody from the team on the stream too. I had made that offer to them. It's pretty early when we get started for those folks. Maybe once we get into the third hour or something, uh, we could get them on. All right, let me see here. I'm just checking one more place real quick. All right, that'll come along. All right, let's see here. Gray Man, member for 9 months. Look at that. Gray Man, Gray Man, I, Gray Man is his own favorite ham tuber. You got to have self-love, Tim. I mean, it all starts there. If you don't love yourself, nobody else is going to love you. All right, let's see. Robert, welcome. Robert, we're just announcing the winners of the Open Dark Sky selection process here, and you've got the first one up on the screen. Let me see here. I've got one more I've got to get, and I don't know. I got to make sure I've got it staged here. I think I was kind of trying to build this. Muted. Hey, can you hear me now? Well, I was blathering away there too. Good lordy. Goodness, goodness, goodness. I'm not sure exactly when I got when that happened. Let me see if I can figure it out here. Thanks for letting me know there, Frank. Huh, that was pretty interesting. All right. Thanks for all the thanks for trying to help there, everybody. Yeah. Well, you know, I'll give the Cliff Notes version here again, just to keep things moving along. But Tierney had a great story to tell. So in addition to, having some great scores, right, which is what I was trying to show here, right? She's up in Bend, Oregon. Good horizon scores, good solar scores. Uh, she's also involved in an astronomy club, and she has a side business where she sells astronomy related things, astronomy stuff. So, certainly somebody who has a vested interest in light pollution and how light pollution impacts the other hobbies that she's involved in. So, let's see. Almost went to sleep there. Well, Rick, sorry. Glad we saved you before you drifted off. But that's Tierney's story. So I'm excited to get these out to those folks. I'm excited to have them get them deployed, and looking forward to them showing up on the map so that we're not the only ones here in Texas. And it'll be great to have these guys on the stream and talk about their experience in getting these things put out there. So again, congratulations. And I'll be reaching out tomorrow to initiate the process, collect the addresses and all that kind of stuff, and we'll get these sent out to you guys. All right, let's see. Another amateur astronomer. That seems to be, there's certainly a Venn diagram between ham radio operators and amateur astronomers, or astrophotography as well. A lot of crossover there. All right. We have a spotlight that's visible in space, nothing but light pollution. Yeah, it's a problem, no doubt. All righty, let's see here. It'll be interesting to see what folks are able to do with that data as that data starts getting collected and made available to folks. Looking forward to seeing what that might turn into. All right, so let's see here. One of the things I want to jump into here is AMSAT Field Day. And, I think a lot of people are pretty familiar with the rules and how regular field day works, but I'm not sure that everybody is aware of AMSAT Field Day. So they have a field day activity that runs parallel to the ARRL field day. And if you just go out to the amsat.org website /field-day, here, I guess I should drop that. Let me drop that. In the chat here. Well, let me just do a copy so I don't screw it up. If you head on out here to the AMSAT webpage, you can learn all about this. So I thought this would be fun to go down through this and talk a little bit about, first of all, some of the rules. And then second of all, the satellites that are currently operational and how you might want to put a strategy together, or how you might want to start thinking about satellites that you want to work. Now, when first of all, there's a and we should pull this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this this field day rules page, because at the end of this page there is a form. And let me right. And they do provide the document in a Word format or a PDF. I just grabbed the PDF so it'd be easier to view here. But they, you have to submit this sheet via email to get scored, right? And you know, they walk you right through it here. They tell you how to calculate your score. And this needs to be submitted. They've aligned, this wasn't always the case, but they've aligned the submission date with the ARRL deadline for score submissions as well. So I thought that's a pretty smart move here. So, so they have to be sent to KK5DO right here at AMSAT AMSATnet.com or ARRL.net, KK5DO, and it has to be received by 11:59 Central Daylight Time, Tuesday, July 28th. So that's the same deadline as I mentioned for your ARRL Field Day submission as well. Here, let's go back to here. All right, so now if any of you have tried to work satellites on field day, most people will attempt an FM contact, right? That's there's just more FM operators than there are SSB operators, and you know, it's it makes sense. It kind of makes sense, right? That's the easier of the two to make. You know, FM is the equipment's a little more readily available. It's less to manage than, certainly if you're working portable, it's less to manage. Now, a lot of folks won't even work linear birds, SSB birds, mobile or by hand. A lot of them will use, you know, a 9700, which, you know, that's certainly, you know, a very, you'll have a high level of success is probably the best way to think about that. If you're using a 9700 with a automated rotator and control software, right? That just makes sense. But when you're doing all that stuff by hand, first of all, the equipment's difficult to come by or expensive. And it's just a little more, it is a little more difficult, right? You're working two different frequencies. The transponders are usually inverted, so that means you have to kind of learn how to find the downlink in relation to the uplink, right? It's not going to be on the same frequency. It's going to be, or it's not going to be in the same kind of related area, right? On the other band, it's going to be inverted. So if you're if you're listening on the top of the 70 centimeter frequency, you're going to be transmitting at the bottom of the 2 meter frequency. It's kind of how that works. So it's, you know, there's not a lot of people that do it. There's not as many people that do it. And so what that translates to is FM birds just being crazy on field day. Making the field day contact is very challenging. Everybody wants that 100-point bonus, right? That's the way it works for ARRL field days. You get a 100-point bonus if you make that FM contact, or if you make a satellite contact, and everybody's trying to get that bonus. And so the other thing that seems to happen is, because there's a bonus associated with that, it tends, now I don't know this to be the case, but my experience tells me that this is true, that you have a lot of people that actually try to work satellites for the first time on field day, right? So either nobody in the club has experience doing it, and so they give it a try, or, maybe someone is working a D station from home and they, want to just switch it up and they want to give it a try. You tend to have some less experienced operators, and it all just ends up being a crazy 24 hours for satellites. Significantly cheaper, absolutely. Working FM birds is a lot cheaper than working the linear birds, no doubt about it. So, and really the recommendation for ARRL field day, and it is as well for AMSAT's field day, is for the FM birds, you make your contact and then you leave that bird alone, right? Let others make the contact. Don't just contribute to the chaos. Get your contact and get out is really kind of the best way to think about that. And so if that's the case, then how in the heck do you have a contest working satellites for the AMSAT field day? And so we're going to slide down here. So they talk a little bit about what the exchange looks like. And this is a digital exchange, right? So I'm giving you a little bit of a peek there already. There's a lot of opportunity to work all the satellites as much as you can, right? Provided that you've got workable passes and everything else, from a digital perspective, right? And, doing an APRS exchange is one way to do that. And they outline how that can be done. Now, they also require what's called a 3-way exchange for those digital contacts. And here you can see, let me blow this up a little bit here. Here you can see what that digital exchange looks like, right? So you're calling out, and this is similar to your field day exchange in any other mode, right? So you have one station being called by another station. They're providing their class 2A, and they're providing their section, right? And then the other call comes back, QSL, and then they're sharing their class and their section. And then the expectation is that you're acknowledging their acknowledgement, right? So this is kind of gets into that, that FT8 area that, we've talked about from time to time, right? Do you really need to have the last acknowledgement for it to be a valid contact? I think everyone's gotten over it in FT8, but from a satellite perspective, using, a digital mode, the expectation is that you're acknowledging that acknowledgement. So it's what they call a 3-way exchange. Okay. And you can work as many of those as you want. There's no limit. There's no restriction on those digital exchanges. Okay. Now, if we just look at the rules here, right? So the analog transponders, same rules apply, except, right? And this is what we talked about before, phone, CW, and digital segment on each satellite transponder is considered to be a different band. So if you have a satellite that has multiple transponders, you can work them one time for each of those transponders, right? Let's see what else we got here. CW and digital, right? If you're working any of these modes, your digital contacts and CW contacts are 3 points. So that's nice. Not sure if there's going to be any SSTV going on, but there's certainly a number of satellites that do send SSTV. So you got to be watching for that. Oh yeah. And they suggest taking a look here. Let's see. And, you know, they ask you to submit the image that you receive as part of your submission for your 3 points on an SSTV reception. But, you know, here's where some of the detail comes in. So stations can only count one completed QSO on a single FM satellite, single channel FM satellite, right? So that's very similar to the expectation or the guidance really for the ARRL field day. But if that satellite has multiple modes, then you can work each of those modes for a contact. Okay. Let's see here. Digital transponders. All right, so for the APRS digipeaters, we talked about this a little bit already. Now, there's a couple of challenging options here for folks in the southern states, right? So here, specifically, they call out Sonate 2. Let's see, or I'm sorry, IO86. So it will be turned on for field day. It's not always on, but it will be turned on for field day over Central America. So there's a 5-degree chance, a 5-degree elevation chance over Miami and a 1-degree elevation chance over Houston. So here in North Texas, I am not going to have an opportunity to try to work that. I'll be able to work ISS and Sonate 2 though. Let's see here. Sideband inversion gets you on inverting linears. Yep, sure does. Easy to mix that up in addition to the frequency translation. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. Certainly, Jody, and you know, I think that's one of the reasons too why you see, and this is whenever I set up my linear, my portable linear satellite station. If you guys remember, I used an 818 as my sending station, and then I used an SDR connected to my phone as my receiving station because it would allow me to see the entire bandwidth of the transponder on the SDR. And that certainly helps when you're trying to find yourself on the satellite and you're trying to find others. All right, let's see what else is interesting here. Satellite digipeat QSOs and short message contacts are worth 3 points. All right. And those are a two-way exchange. All right, so let's get this straight here. So satellite digipeat QSOs are worth 3 points each, but must be verified two-way exchanges, right? So that is what we'd expect here. All right, so what was this one for? So this is, oh, this is for packet. Packet requires digital packet satellite requires a three-way exchange. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Digital transponders, we talked about that. One contact per FM satellite is not applied to digital transponders. Again, this is where you're going to make hay if you are trying to win the contest. Now, these guys don't try to walk the line of, is it a contest? Is it not a contest? It's a contest. And they actually recognize the winners at the annual AMSAT meeting each year. So they actually, I think they provide a trophy, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to see if we can find this for sure, but I think they provide a trophy to the winner, to the number one, to the highest point total, and then a certificate to the to second and third place, and each of them get mentioned during that annual meeting each year. So they're not trying to walk the line. They're saying, yes, this is a contest. Let's see what else we missed in here. Okay, so they have a suggestion here for your digital greeting, your sample file. Right, so this is kind of interesting here. You guys, I think you're able to read that. Let me try to maybe go just a little bit bigger. Right, here's the suggestion. Greetings from your call sign. Greetings from call sign Field Day Station, satellite station near Katy, Texas, EL29, with 20 participants operating Class 2A in the AMSAT Houston group with the Houston Amateur Television Society and the Houston QRP Club. All the best in 73. Boy, that's a lot of participants for only having 2 radios. Well, maybe 3, right? They might be running the 6-meter station or something there. But they, this is a suggested exchange, which is nice that they provide that, right? But they tell you what they're looking for. Call sign, name of the group, operating class, where you're located, grid square, and how many operators in attendance. Pretty good. Let's see what else. Your operating class is your ARRL operating class. Let's see. Okay, yeah. And then your summary sheet that's used for submission. We've already talked about this. Oh, they also ask that you add any photographs or interesting information because they try to compile all this stuff and they put it in the AMSAT journal following field day as well. All right, you can expect to get an email back after a couple of days. Oh yeah, here we go. Certificates will be awarded for first place emergency power portable station at the AMSAT General Meeting and Space Symposium in Jacksonville this year. Certificates will also be awarded to the second and third place, in addition to the first place home station running on emergency power. Station submitting high award-winning scores will be requested to send in dupe sheets for analog contacts and message listings for digital downloads. So pretty cool. I'm curious if has anybody in the chat ever submitted a summary sheet for AMSAT Field Day? I never have. I've always just been so kind of involved. I've always been so involved in kind of the regular ARRL Field Day activities, whether that's you know, trying to make SSB contacts or food. Let's be honest, right? Um, and I always, I know, big surprise, get drafted to make the satellite contact. However, I've never participated in the AMSAT program, but this year I think I'm going to try to do a little bit more of that in our group. Yeah, they chose a side. That's exactly right. Never submitted field days. Yeah, well, that is the thing, right? Is that field day does keep you busy. Now, I've also seen. Now, again, I'm going to participate. I'm going to take my 2730, so I get the FM contact. Right, I'll get that on SO50. I'll get that on the space station, right? Well, for the ARRL side, right, you only need one. You only need one contact. But, I'm going to try to make those FM contacts for both of those birds. Let me see here. We should. Let's swap back over here for a second. And let's see what's active currently. So not hearing anything. AO 123, AO. Okay, so the linear birds is where that's where you're gonna make your hay. So I'm going to take the 2730 for the FM contacts, and then I'm gonna take my dual 818, 817 setup for to work the linear birds. And then I'm also going to take my D75 to do some packet stuff. So I'm going to take 3 radios, or 4 radios, I guess, 3 setups to work different different modes in different birds. But it looks like AO7, AO73, AO7, yeah. So that is just amazing. AO7 still going. Just crazy. But let's see here. What else is currently working? We're really limited on the FM birds currently. So here's another FO29. This is another linear that should be able to work. Right, you got some digital here. Of course, you got your ISS. Now, the other thing in the rules here, let's see here. I want to see, I think they make an accommodation or you can make a contact with an astronaut as another point opportunity in addition to an FM contact with, somebody that's on the ground. I'm pretty sure I saw that in here somewhere. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Stations may count 1 completed QSO on any single FM channel FM satellite. Satellite is multiple modes turned on, then 1 contact is on each is allowed. Okay. ISS one phone and one digital. Contacts with the ISS crew will count for one contact if they are active, right? So if they're active, you could actually get another contact on the ISS. Let's see. Right, so you don't have a lot of FM opportunities if you're going to try to get some points. You're going to have to go linear. Of course, QO100 we can't hit. RS44 just keeps chugging along. There's our FM SO50. Here's your digital contacts here. So this is a great resource, right, to kind of plan out your passes and plan out your strategy. Use this, find out what birds are working. And here, IO86, this is the one right here that they mentioned will be turned on over South America. So folks in Houston, folks in Florida will have an opportunity to work that bird. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's a contest. Yeah, that's for sure. Looks like I'm having maybe a little bit of stream trouble here. How's the video and audio look for you guys? Getting a few alerts here in studio. Yeah, Bob, you should actually you should absolutely try to make try to make a satellite contact. 5.9. Okay, good. Buffered once. Okay, good. Those I think once those warnings come up, they don't go away until you clear them. So who knows when that happened. All right, let's see here. So I think we got through most of that. I want to look at this one more time here. Oh, I know what. It might be fun to just also, right? If you just want to, if you just are curious, let's see if we can find. I remember them making the announcement last year at the symposium, but I don't remember. Boy, and what day was that on? Let's see here. What I'm trying to see is if, well, actually, they would probably be under live. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do just super quick. Was it at the banquet? I don't recall. So I'm just going to look here real quick. We're going to pause that. And let's see, do we have a transcription here? Show transcript. And let's see. Okay, so there's a mention of it here. Let's see, what are they talking about? Let's see, 333. Trying to see if I can, I'm trying to remember what the winning score was last year, if people are interested. The awards for field day. Why don't I see that in here? I see it listed up here. But this thing seems to be, maybe I'm asking too much of my machine here.
Present the awards for field day, and I think he's got a couple other things.
All right, let's back that up just a minute here. We'll see if we can find it real quick. See if we can put our hands on it.
The welcome to the annual general meeting for AMSAT members meeting. We're gonna start out with Bruce Page is gonna come up and present the awards for field day.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
You got a couple other things.
I think that means we nailed it.
Let's see, I've got a 10-page report here. Let me get it out.
The more time you fill, the less I have.
Okay, we can make it last. Maybe. Oh, there it is. All right. Let me put this phone in my pocket. All right, this year we had 17 stations participating. Not very many.
Not many.
More in previous years. 17 satellites were in operation. I consider a satellite based on their mode of operation. So if they have a VU operating and they also have digital operating, that would be 2 modes. If they have sideband, you've got your sideband, you've got your CW, so that would be two satellites basically. We had a total of 463 QSOs that were made and 503 points total earned by all these stations that were operating. So our 3rd place winner for a club station on emergency power was the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club K4BFT. Big Fat Turkey, as they like to be known. And anybody hear from there? Oh, we get something to mail. All right.
I don't think there's anyone from any of them there.
Second place, we've got.
Oh, I thought they said how many points.
Huntsville. Wait a minute. Yeah, second place is the Holland Amateur Radio Club, K8DAA. Anyone hear from there? No? Yeah. And first place, Lafayette DX Association, W9LDX. They had a total of 118 points. So they usually stay up there in first or second, third place. They jockey around every couple years. And then we have
see, the home station is here.
First place for home station on emergency power. We just give one first place out for that. We don't do second and third. And this goes to George Jones, W2GDJ. Anybody?
GDJ.
Good, 4 certificates to mail. Now I got something special. Oh, for the first place home on commercial power, that was me. I don't care about the certificate. In fact, I had the same number.
Well, there you go. So there's the number you're chasing. 118 points was last year's winner. This guy exudes ham energy. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. Good call, Jody. Let's see. Yeah, so I wish you would have said what the second and third places were, so you guys would have an idea. But only 503 total points, or Was that, did he say points or QSOs? I bet you he meant points, but maybe he said QSOs. But the point being, right, if you want to get after it, there's an opportunity there to maybe get yourself a certificate. All right. Well, I know some of those rules are a little bit on the confusing side, but we could certainly, well, you guys know where they are, right? I'm going to have to read through them again to make sure they're clear in my mind. And then here's what I'm going to do. Just like I map out my FM passes, you'll be able to take a look at your prediction software. And again, I use ISS detector. And, let's see. How far out into the future does ISS detector go? Let's just take a quick look. Oh, thanks, Tim. I saw Tim had sent me a text there that my audio had muted. But let's see here. We easily are getting out. Let's see. So, yeah. So right now there are predictions in ISS detector. I mean, clear to July 4th, right? So you can certainly sit down, build yourself a schedule, and plan out which satellites you're going to be able to work. And, you can think about how you want to weave that into your other field day activities. That's what I'm going to do. Now, for field day, I'm going to be taking my digital station. We've got Jason is bringing a radio. Frank's bringing a radio. I think we're going to have at least 4 radios. I think we're going to decide, it'll be a game time decision whether or not we are operating a 3 or 4 radio station. But I'll be set up as a digital station. We're going to have a couple SSB stations. I think Frank's planning on doing some SSTV as well. So he'll be doing some digital stuff. But some of the other things you want to think about and try to work around are things like the bulletin. You have a couple of opportunities to get the bulletin. I'm going to try to do that digitally. We'll also try to do it with SSB. But, don't forget that Friday night, they'll transmit the bulletin, and that'll give you an opportunity to dial in your set or your setup, right? They'll do a RIDI. What else do they do? MSK31 and CW, right? They'll do all 3 of those on Friday night. So let's see, CW by Bill. That's right. Ooh, Bill's gonna be racking up those 2-point calls. I'll be racking up some digital 2-point calls, or some digital 2-point contacts. Yeah, that's awesome, Bill. Let's see here. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing is you already know when those passes are going to happen. You'll know which ones you have a shot to work and which ones are maybe too low on the horizon for your location. I think our location, we've got a lot of trees. We got a lot of tree. I think it's going to be interesting where we're going to just put regular antennas versus where I'm going to be able to work satellite passes. So, but, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's probably somewhere around 30 digital contacts, and the rest of them are probably, there's only a handful of points that you can get on FM birds, right? There's so few birds. From an FM perspective, you'll be lucky to get 5 points, right? 5, well, if you are in Houston or Florida, you have an opportunity for another point. So, maybe 5, 6 points are all that you'll get on FM. And then the rest of those will have to come in 3-point contacts. So, that score of 118, it's only 30 some contacts. So over a 24-hour period, not too bad. Let's see here. Bill says, if I can figure out the Hermes light, ooh. But the venerable TX-500 waits in the sidelines just in case. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be bringing the 891 for the digital station. Of course, I'll have my satellite rigs. I'll have my HT as well. All the ISS passes for field day are showing between 2 and 4 in the morning. Well, you know what? That's, Bob, that's probably an excellent time to actually try to make the contact, because it may not be as chaotic. But, depending on what the SO50 passes look like, right? If people really want that 100 points, they might have to stay up. Let's see here. I'm going to take a look and see what my FM passes look like. Okay, there's Friday. Saturday. Let's get in the window. All right, let's see here. Maybe I can bring this up and show you guys. Tevel 2.3 and 2.7. Yeah, if they're working. That's kind of the question there. Let me see. What was I going to do here? Okay, let me connect up my phone here and we can look at the passes together. Come on. It's trying. All right, there it is. Now let me make sure I've got it here. Yeah, let me look here real quick. Always takes a minute for this. Daggone it. Did that, you guys got my audio again? I don't know why that audio is dropping. Seems like any time I make a change, for whatever reason, that audio drops. Thanks, Todd. Welcome. If you didn't catch that before, nice to see you. Let's see. And we're back. All right. Well, let's, what time we have? We got 10:30. Yeah. Well, I wonder, is it the screen switch or was it, let me try. I'm gonna do this on purpose and see what happens. Yeah, so that kept my audio. I think it's whenever I actually went out and made a change. Yeah, I think it's when I actually went out and made a change to the scene is when it dropped. All right. Well, I wanna revisit. You guys ready for a different topic? We can always come back to this if you like. Hey, Brian, welcome. I want to revisit AST SpaceMobile. Like I had said at the top of the show, back in August of last year, I did a segment called The Evil Face of Ham Radio, and I was calling out AST SpaceMobile as they were petitioning to get access to some of the 70 centimeter frequencies that overlap with ham radio activities, and some of those being satellite related frequencies. And, you know, the thing that was interesting, I went back and I looked to find out, you know, one of their earlier birds was this blue walker. And here you can see that there's a little highlight here. There's a little message here. Let me blow this up. I want to make sure you guys can see this. That might have been one too many. First of all, this is a pretty large bird. This is like maybe just shy of 700 square feet. Right? So this is a pretty large satellite. But you can see here that they were tagged for frequency misuse. Right? And so if we go in here to look at their transmitters, they were transmitting on a number of 70 centimeter frequencies that were not authorized to use, right? These were uncoordinated. That's what that means is, you know, whenever these birds, prior to these birds being launched, the satellite teams work with the IARU to establish and coordinate the frequencies that they will use for their various activities. Now, you can see that they have a number of other frequencies here that are not problematic, right? These aren't tagged like these two are, right? If you look at this card has a red border at the top. These ones have blue borders. Whenever you see a card with a red border at the top, that means that's an uncoordinated transmitter. And so these guys got in some hot water, but not so much hot water that you can remember back, you know, in the summer of last year, they had petitioned for access to a number of ham radio frequencies. And you may recall they were actually granted an experimental emergency. Let me try to remember what it was. It was emergency use only frequencies. Right? So these were command and control type frequencies, and if they had lost their primary command and control frequency capability, then they were permitted to use amateur radio frequencies or frequencies in the amateur radio space as for an emergency situation for up to 24 hours. All right, Frank, thanks for hanging out, buddy. Have a good night at work. So, it's always interesting when you have these guys who've proven that they're a bad actor, when they still get granted the use of this finite resource, right? I mean, these guys have proven that they're not above working outside the boundaries of, what's considered proper protocol and etiquette. Well, here on Tuesday, they just launched 3 additional satellites. They launched Bluebird 8, 9, and 10. And these are satellites that have that emergency designation for use of amateur bands for, again, up to 24 hours. They were approved that this time back in April, I think it was 2 months ago. So you see here, this card is blue, right? So this is coordinated. And these just went up 2 days ago, right? These went up on Wednesday. So some of this information, you guys know how SatNogs works, right? This is crowdsourced data. Sometimes they'll get data directly from the satellite teams, but other times they'll have to look for that data themselves. And sometimes, they'll have to make adjustments to their initial information until things become better well known or some of the details shake out, right? So they don't always have the inside track. They have the inside track frequently, but they don't have the inside track all the time. And if you look here, these were updated by Freddie. You guys may remember Freddie. Freddie was the gentleman that I interviewed at Hamvention this year, right? So he's the one that identified these frequencies and uploaded them here to the database. But what's kind of interesting here, right, is it feels like we're in these kind of wait and see mode to see how these guys operate. The other thing I want to draw your attention to here, do you guys see how huge this satellite is? Here, let's see, this satellite is like 2,600 square feet. I mean, think about that, right? There's a lot of houses that aren't 2,600 square feet. These 3 satellites are enormous. Let's see. The nadir face of the Blue Walker spacecraft. I mean, these are people standing back behind here, right? There's probably 30, 40 people standing around this satellite. This thing is enormous. Let's see if I'm curious here if what else we can find out about this thing. Well, let's go to their website. Bluebird. Here it is, 2,400 square feet. That's a big target. You're not kidding. That is a beast. That is a beast. Yeah, so the earlier Bluebirds, right, the first gen, they were less than 700 square feet. So they're even a little bit bigger than I thought they were. Right, if we go back and we look at this Blue Walker, right, that was just under 700 square feet. But these are big old satellites. Right, and if you guys remember, these guys are trying to provide direct to consumer cellular service through their satellites. That's their mission. That's their ploy. Let's see. Now these guys are interesting. AST Space. I always like to follow the money on these kinds of things. Let's see how these guys have been doing. So when we last talked about these guys, this is when they were petitioning to get access to that amateur radio frequency space. And at that time, I believe they were trading around 40 some bucks. So let's look here. So August, let's see, July, August. That was toward the end of August. Yeah, so these guys are right around 45 to 50 bucks. And then they were granted access to those frequencies and boom. They shot up, had another little dip here. This is, I think, where they had some operational issues, if I recall. They had some operational issues and then they dropped. They got past those operational issues and then they were at a high of, what is that, 120, 110? Yeah, 121 earlier in the year. And then they've dropped off a bit here. They had some launch issues, I thought. I have to go back and look. Let's see, when was that big dip? November. Let's see what we can find. Let's see, major launch issue. Yeah, so they had a big issue. Oh, wait, it was April. Okay. Oh, in November, launch delays. Okay, they had some launch delays. So it's always, kind of interesting to see how this stuff kind of goes. Let's see what else we can see here. When did they have the illegal frequency issues? Let's see. Oh, between June and August. Yeah, that's right. Whenever we were talking about them here. Yeah, I remember. I remember this now, right? They had a German cease order where they had to turn off communications when they went over Germany. They did get some regulatory resolutions, and that's when their stock jumped again. And then here's the limited grant denying routine use. emergency only access. And this was interesting here, right? Because, you know, the FCC said you can have emergency only access, right? I mean, because you can imagine, first of all, there were a lot of people who were not happy when the FCC granted them some of these frequency privileges. The ARRL and some other organizations, AMSAT, some other organizations, really generated a lot of noise and got a lot of attention. You know, we talk about, you know, some of the challenges with organizations like the ARRL, but, you know, we never give them enough credit whenever they do make some, you know, important stands. And this, you know, this one was pretty interesting. The FCC adjusted their grant to say that they could only use those frequencies for emergency access when the birds are outside of the United States. So they were preserving the frequency space in the U.S., but they said, look, you do what you want to do once you get outside the U.S. And that, of course, got everybody else who was outside the U.S. fired up, right? So pretty interesting stuff, if you ask me. So where we stand right now is they have emergency use access outside of the U.S., and they can do it for up to a 24-hour period, right? That's when no other commercial bands are available, right? And again, if we take a look at all the transmitters that they have, well, these all look like, these are all in the 70 centimeter space. 439 or 435, 900. Let's look at some of these other ones. That was 8. 434, 100. So I'm thinking they have some other command and control frequencies that aren't listed here yet. Again, these things were launched 2 days ago. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. How long do you think it's going to take before these guys violate their frequency grant? You know, the other thing I think is interesting is if they do, will we know it? Right? If they do, what's it going to take for us to be able to identify it? You know, I think they've irritated enough people that there's people that are watching. There's going to be people paying attention, but you know, paying attention globally, that takes some stamina, and it takes some resources, and it takes some coordination and everything else. So I don't know how long something like that can be maintained. Trying a little Mars mod on the bird. Rocket Lab, yeah. You know, it's interesting too. So you know, with SpaceX, you know, recently going, and everybody jumping on that bandwagon early. A lot of the other contemporary space-related companies, like Rocket Lab, took a dip, right? Let's take a look at. So we saw Let's see, where do I have that at? Right here. So this is AST. Let me duplicate this, and then let's look for, I don't normally use this. Let's see, Rocket Lab. Let's see how Rocket Lab, let's see how they've done in the last 5 days. Oh, they've maintained pretty well. I thought they had dipped. Okay, they dipped. So it's a little bit longer tail than what I thought it was. But yeah, they've taken a pretty good hit here, right? They've lost, what is that? 21%, 16% in the last month. So that's a pretty good hit. I wonder if the ARRL proposed to AST that they leave those radios in repeater mode open to amateurs. Yeah, wouldn't that have been nice? I don't know. Let's go back and look at that, Jody. If I recall, they're transmitters, not transponders. And they will identify them, appropriately. So these are all identified as transmitters. So I don't think they have the capability. If we go back, just for comparison's sake, we take a look at, we look here, right? These are transceivers. I'm sorry. Right, so transceivers and a transmitter. So I think that's a great thought, but my guess is they weren't in a position to be able to do that. Yeah, that's so true, right? I mean, they could, the smart play would have been to put transceivers in those satellites, especially when they're that large. I mean, it's not like they're hurting for room. Um, when you can put a transceiver in a CubeSat, a 1U CubeSat, but just imagine how that would have turned. Right, these guys would have went from being the goat to being the belle of the ball. Right, I mean, these guys are going to be launching a lot of satellites. Let's see how many. Let's see how many they're going to launch in the next year if they have a proposal out there. I'm sure they do. They aim to have 45 satellites in orbit in the next year. I mean, gosh, just put a transponder on a quarter of those and boy, everybody would love you. But I think the other thing that's interesting is, why are they after those frequencies? Why don't they do like everybody else does and go after some different frequencies? Right? I mean, let's see. Let's look at a Starlink satellite here. I mean, why aren't they doing something like this? Right? All of these transmitters, and look, these are all CW transmitters. That's interesting. I mean, these guys aren't trying to play in the amateur radio space. Is, you know, do they not want to do the engineering? Are they not capable of doing the engineering? I don't know. Let's see if Google can tell us anything. Why are they using 70 centimeter frequencies? Let's just keep it wide open and see what it says. Because it represents some of the most valuable and efficient radio frequency real estate. Well, that doesn't sound like a great answer, does it? Send them some 900 megahertz stuff. They do not use these frequencies to provide cell service, right? We wouldn't expect that. But they want it for telemetry, tracking, and command, right? I just call it command and control. Here we go. I think now we're getting to the root of things here. This is, I think, the real reason, right? I think it's a cost thing, right? There's commodity hardware that will allow them to do this very affordably, where if they have to get into engineering around other frequencies, it's going to cost them a lot more money. So they're trying to skate through on the back of ham radio operators. Bluebird 8 weighs 5,000 kilos. 300-gram amateur radio payload represents 0.006% of the mass. Yeah. Could be, Jody. Right? Nobody in the room thought of it. But it just, you know, it just drives me nuts. You have all of these other space, all of these other satellite companies, all these other space-related engineering companies who are able to come up with solutions outside of the 70 centimeter band, outside of amateur radio space. But these guys have to be jackwagons and, you know, try to take the easy, cheap way out. And, you know, it's going to be hams that are the ones that are going to take the brunt of it. Morgan says, yeah, Bofang gave them 100 free HTs. Yeah, I don't disagree, Chris, right? That's going to space is hard. It's not easy. But look, if these guys have the ability to engineer something, a satellite the size of a house, the size of a large house, right? Nearly a 3,000 square foot house, they can figure out how to do a transmitter or better yet, a transceiver. I mean, if they can engineer something that can withstand the rigors of space, being 2,600 square foot, I think it's a cost thing. I think it's looking for a place to save money and engineering. Let's see. Jody says AST probably wouldn't want an RF source right next to their nice big sensitive array. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. You know, with these CubeSats, we just need an open source design that could be plug and play. Well, I mean, the CubeSat design spec is essentially that, Chris. So that already exists. Right, there is the CubeSat design spec, which is very much plug and play. Right, that's where the whole P-Pod launcher concept came in. It's very much plug and play. That's where AMSAT has transceivers and other capabilities that are plug and play that they can provide to interested parties. They've engineered those transceivers. And they are plug and play. I think that I am sure that the engineering is not right. That again, anything related to space is expensive. Well, why don't we have more? Well, I think we've seen the cost come way down in terms of building them, right? You can build one for, thousands of dollars, not even tens of thousands, but thousands of dollars. It's not building them that's hard. It's, it's getting them in space that's still expensive. Right now it's still six figures to get one of these birds in space. It takes you less than $10,000 to build it, and $100,000 to get it launched. So that's why we don't have more. As we get more rideshare opportunities, as we get more competition for rideshare opportunities, that cost will start to come down. I mean, it's way less than it was many years ago. Now, the other thing too is, from an AMSAT perspective, where, in the past, they've been reluctant to spend the big dollars to get on like the NASA ride shares. But since Drew has come on board, at least he feels like we should be doing more of that, right? That AMSAT should be willing, and I think the financial situation has changed considerably, and that has a lot to do with it. But I think, I think opening up where you can catch a ride is the key to getting more of these in space. And sometimes you got to be willing to pay a little bit more to get on a ride. And AMSAT hadn't been willing to do that in the past, but they are willing to do that now. Yeah, that's it. We need to do a car wash. The problem, Gray Man, is, you need to have somebody to hold the signs that's got better legs than you, better legs than me. That's the problem. Let's see. SpaceX rideshare launch cost is about $5 to $10K a kilo. Yeah, price is coming down for sure. That seems really low, though. Right? I mean, a CubeSat's only a couple kilos. So I have not seen, not saying that Google knows all, but let's see what it thinks. What's the cost to get a 1U CubeSat on a ride share today in 2026? Well, between 30 and 90. So yeah, it is coming down. Smallest rideshare program, the lowest industry rate, 7,000 per kilo. They enforce a minimum purchase tier. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem there. Bob is the minimum. It's $7K per kilo, but you got to buy 50 kilos. Dirty rats. You have to remember you're not just paying SpaceX. You have to pay. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. There's a there's a number of links in the chain for sure. For sure. But the costs are coming down, but that's still the limiting factor, right? It's the launch cost. Let's see. Rocket Lab, 300,000. Premium choice if you require a highly customized orbital slot. 80 to 90,000 from the ISS. Here's some hidden costs. Yeah, see the deployer mechanism, the P-pod, that physically ejects your satellite, cost another 10 to 20 grand. The regulatory licensing, another 15K. Clean room verification, vibration testing, thermal vacuum, another 25K. So still not quite to the point where we can just get a bunch of our buddies together and throw a few grand into a pot and get a satellite put up there. Starship will fire amateur CubeSats out like BBs. I'm here for it. Let's see that. Yeah, indeed. So, certainly something we need to keep an eye on, right? It's an interesting story to follow. What kind of citizen AST is going to be? I'm still in the annoyed phase where, it's conceptually from what they're doing, trying to go direct to consumer with a satellite-based cellular program. I like the idea, right? I think it's a technology. I mean, I'd like to invest in the technology, but I just can't bring myself to invest in them. I just can't do it. It's probably to my own detriment, but right. If today it's unknown if they'll be able to achieve what they're setting out to do. But if they do achieve it, right, that stock price is gonna be right up there with a lot of the other larger space related companies. And so I wish they were just a better corporate citizen. Let's see. Bricker says, that test SpaceX did with all those dummy sats, they should have opened it up and sent CubeSats out for free. I like the idea. Yeah, I mean, you are not wrong there. I mean, you have people complaining about much smaller satellites, Jody, and these guys are putting out, um, you know, satellites the size of suburban homes. Um, yeah, you're not going to be able to miss seeing those things fly through the air. It's kind of what was that? What was that animated? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Up. You guys remember that animated movie Up? This is what this makes me think of. Right? Do you guys remember that? All the balloons lifted the house up into the air. You're going to have 45 houses floating around up there, uh, by the end of the year or this in the next year. Yep, you got it, Bob. Let's see here. We still have a bunch of people hanging out. Thanks for being here, folks. Let me, while I'm here, I know I mentioned this much earlier, and I saw Tim come in and he say, "Would I win?" But I will mention again that we. Oh, now I've got to check this. All right, I'm going to pay attention to my audio and see if this thing gets jacked up. Let's see. So far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so good. That looks fine. Okay. Just to announce again that I did select the 2 people for the Open Dark Sky program. Here, let me just put this back over there real quick. Aren't you going to go over there? There we go. So again, we had 45 people that submitted an entry. We had good participation. We had a good distribution of applicants from across the U.S. And I selected one from Bend, Oregon, and that's Tierney. Tierney OTA is the screen name, and call sign is KJ7 November Zulu Zulu, Kilo Juliet 7 November Zulu Zulu, from Bend, Oregon. So right around here. So, good solar reliability, good horizon visibility. So that's one of our winners. And then our second winner is Andy. And I don't even know how you say Andy's screen name. What is that? Apstro Jenny 3? I don't know. Andy from Medina, Ohio. So that's up near Cleveland. Again, pretty good horizon, pretty good solar reliability. Great story, great submission. Both of them, I have a high level of confidence that they'll be able to get these deployed, keep them up and running, and looking forward to have them both on a stream once they get their hands on these and get them deployed, and we see them pop up on the map here. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing something out here in Oregon and seeing something over here in Ohio. So those are the winners that I announced earlier this evening. Wanted to share that again in case we've got some folks that missed that earlier, and maybe some of those folks have joined the chat. That would be great. I'll be reaching out to those folks tomorrow to let them know. Let's see. Bricker, what have you printed lately? So, Chris, I am still in the woohoo! I just got a 3D printer phase. So, almost everything I'm printing is related to printing with my printer. So, I printed a here I guess we probably have a few folks that would be interested. I can share with you guys the models that I printed. Let's see. Let's jump back over here. Let's see. So I printed a build plate holder. So I've got a few build plates. I'll show you. You see there's a ton of them. So I did this one right. No, this isn't. This is close to it. I did V3, I believe. Let me see. Oh yeah, here's V3. So I printed this. It worked out pretty well. I printed it with just a PLA. I used a matte PLA, and I was tinkering around a little bit with some of the settings. Tried to, ensure that it was going to be something that lasted for a little bit longer than maybe the standard print may have printed. But I was pretty happy with how it turned out. What I like about it is it's got a pretty smart design. So the foot here has a couple of studs that fit into spots on the bottom of the printer on the P1S. And so when this thing's in place, you have the weight of the printer that keeps it kind of in place. And, the tolerances and everything are really pretty well done. I was concerned, right? I've got, I printed a 4-plate version. I've got 2 plates right now, 2 extra plates, 3 total. One's in the printer, 2 are in standby mode, or that I'm not using. I figure maybe I'll end up with a couple of more. And I was worried that maybe that there'd be a little bit of chatter with those plates when the thing got a rocking, but that hasn't been the case at all. So that's worked out really well. Let's see. I've not printed a toothpaste squeezer yet. I'm just catching up with all this here. Just stocked up on filament with the anniversary sale this week. Yep, I did the same, Jody. I stocked up to get the highest level of discount there. So I've got a bunch of stuff laying around here, a bunch of many spools. Am I going to do an AMS tower? I want to do the one that you can put a spool of TPU on in front of and do direct drive. I don't know that I am going to, I don't have any plans to do that. If the build plates are rocking, don't bother knocking. But yeah, I mean, those are silent, so that worked out well. I printed a, what I call the thing. It's like a, you could call it like an AMS caddy maybe. So this is a thing that kind of sits in front of the AMS to organize all your crap. Let me see if I can find the one I printed. It's got to be called something else. Maybe a printer organizer. Here it is. I didn't print this one though. This one is for the X1 series. I think there's a link down here that gets me. Yeah, so I printed this one. Again, I printed this in PLA black matte, and it turned out really nice. I think charcoal's actually, that's the bamboo color. So it's a split, prints in a single job. It's, you know, a left and a right side. Again, they kind of come together, and they use the, you know, that knob that you pick up, that you can lift the top thing with, the top glass, to help hold it in place. And that's been super stable as well. They don't really show, but this is split. And it's, oh yeah, here, this is probably right. I printed them as a single, in a single plate. And then these are some optional bits, some extra organization if you want to print those. I didn't print those. So I printed that. Let's see. And then the other thing I printed, some desiccant boxes for the AMS 2 Plus. Oh, and it was called the Robust. So let's see. See if I can spy it real quick. You guys see something that says robust. Can't believe. I mean, it was like the only one that said robust. How is that not at the top? Maybe because, let me put this. That didn't change anything. So let's say robust AMS2 plus, or pro, I guess it is, isn't it? Is that what it is? Pro desiccant. There it is. So I printed this one here. I printed this one in transparent PC. So this one here, it's not what I wanted. This was my first PC print, right? So it's the reason I printed it in PC is because it's got a much higher melting point than PETG does. So, you know, I think PETG, you can probably get away with leaving it in the AMS2 if you're, you know, drying out your filament. But I wanted to be able to pop these in as they are with the desiccant in the oven and dry out the desiccant without taking it out of these little boxes, because that to me seems like a huge pain. So if I can just pull the box out, drop the whole box in, of course, take the hygrometer out, but drop the whole box in the oven to dry out the desiccant. That's a win. And, you know, I think the melting point of PC is somewhere like just under 500 degrees. ZIF socket vibes. I can see that. All right, so let's see here. So look up the spool holder that you can slide. Oh yeah, I've looked at that. I've considered that as well. Now I don't. You guys tell me. Let me see if I can. You guys tell me what is. How well the sensors are in the AMS2. I'll show you what, I'm just loading up Orca Slicer here. I configured mine using Orca Slicer. I didn't create a, I did not connect this to a Bambu account. So I'm not using the Bambu version of the slicer. But here, right? So if we take a look, this is saying that I'm at 2% in the AMS right now. I've got a roll of clear PC. I've got a roll of black clear PC. I've got a roll of PETG carbon fiber and maybe some PETG HF. I've got it fully loaded. I don't have it loaded, but I've got spools. I've got spools in each of the slots. And it says I'm at 2%. I don't know how good that sensor is. I don't know if it's accurate, how accurate it is. You guys tell me. But I don't know that I need to put more desiccant in there. Grayman says 150-ish. Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, Tim. I've just seen things I've read. I think it said up to 250, 250 degrees. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, Jody, that those things aren't super accurate. I'm guessing they're within probably 5% though, I would hope, which is probably close enough. Printing stuff from the phone. Yeah. I can see that. I just, everybody was in such a hubbub over some of the practices that Bambu has adopted that, at least for the near term, I'm just going to keep it, I have it in LAN only mode. Don't have it connected to an account. So it adds a little bit of manual process to it, but I'm okay with that, especially right now, because I'm still trying to learn all the details, right? I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff. I'm still learning how to tweak I forget what they're called, the project file. I forget what they call those files. I'm still learning, what you can adjust what's worthwhile adjusting, what's not worthwhile. Yeah, so I mean, I figured, I mean, Tim, and everything else I've read, right? They say even with things like PC or ASA, right? If you're in that 10 degree or that 10% range, uh, that should print fine. I mean, I was so worried about how that PC would print, right? I heated up the chamber and um, raised the temperature a little bit of the plate, raised the temperature of the nozzle, um, you know, tried to take all of the precautions that I came across, because my understanding is that PC can be really stringy. Um, you can get a lot of the kind of wispies. I don't know what the normal term is, but that's what it looks like to me. But I was really happy with how it printed, and it actually was fairly clear. I did print it on the textured plate, so it wasn't as clear as it could have been if I would have went on the architectural plate. Um, but I was happy with it. You know, I can easily see the color through it, which was kind of the goal. Can you do painting with color, like adding in your call sign and stuff? I don't know, Chris. I haven't tried that yet. My understanding is, and like I said, I've never installed the other stuff, but my understanding is let me switch back over, that this is pretty doggone close to the Bambu solution. I mean, I understand that some of this stuff gets white labeled for some other brands as well, but my understanding is this is real. Left the light on. This is real similar to what you can do in Bambu. You'll have to tell me, Chris, where is the painting options? Is that an option here that's in the menu, or is that just a technique? I added the AMS HT just for TPU, and I'm really not sure I get value from it. It's convenient as a second feed on the second head, but drawing wise probably didn't earn my money back there. Huh. Yeah, the AMS2 has the drying feature built into it, and it seems to do the job. I mean, this number goes down whenever the uh, that percentage goes down whenever I dry it. So I'm assuming it's doing the job. Does it have a dark mode? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, here you can see some of the things I've printed. Right, there's that robust design. This would have been easier to show you. I printed a little seed Molly holster. I printed that with PETG carbon fiber, so I could see what that would print like. But let's see. I'm guessing there is preferences. Here we go. Dark mode. There you go. That looks better. I like that. Good call there. Um, it takes a little bit to kind of understand how each of these like different components can be, each of these kind of sections can have unique profiles, and how you can kind of load those profiles. That wasn't immediately obvious to me, but I figured that out eventually. Looks like the exact same thing. That's what I've heard, Chris, but I don't know. Look in the Prepare tab. Okay, I'm in the Prepare tab. Is it in one of these? I mean, I'm still. I mean, every time I do something, I learn, right? Every time I print something, I learn something else. It does feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, but it also feels like with this, you kind of feels like you're working with a net, right? If you pick the profiles, it's going to get you probably 98% of the way there. I'm trying to learn, when it's worth changing the wall, um, you know, all of these different like strength components, right? When's it worth changing your wall loops? When's it worth, one of the other things they said is with PC, really slow down that first layer speed. So I don't know. Don't think you're missing anything but the print from cell phone. Yeah. And maybe at some point I'll miss that, but currently I don't. Everything in the bar. Oh, you mean up here? So I haven't even really looked at these because I've been working. I haven't started building anything of my own yet. I'm just printing other people's stuff. Well, this says support painting, seam painting, paint on fuzzy skin, emboss. So I don't know if any of those things are what you're looking for, Chris. Emboss. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So if I wanted to put my call sign on something. I don't want that. How do I get this other one? How do I grab that? See this? I don't know how to grab that. I'll just back it up. Try it again. Oh, let's get rid of those. Let's try that again. First of all, maybe. Okay, I want to put it on the back. I would think. There you go. Yeah. Guess you got to be careful you don't go too deep. I don't know how deep that piece is. Style, operation, join, cut, modifier. Go bold. Get rid of the bold. That looks like it would be kind of where you'd want it. Can I move that? I just don't know how to grab it again once I'll have to do some reading. Ah, thank you. That made sense. So yeah. Now I haven't tried doing any like multicolored prints yet. I haven't tried that. That looks like it wastes just a ton of filament. But oh, okay, so then I can move it here. Got it. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I'll have to play around with that some. Interesting. Layer height. Oh, that's the body. Yeah, this is definitely going to require some playing. That's funny, Chris. Now I'm trying to, I mean, it still cracks me up, right? That you go out, you pay hundreds of dollars for one of these printers, and the first thing you do is you print a bunch of crap so that it makes your printing experience better. It's just kind of funny. I get a chuckle out of that. But I'm trying not to just print. I'm resisting the desire to just print stuff for the sake of printing it. I'm trying to find things that are useful. Scraper handle. Yeah, I thought about that. Looks like one of those things that I mean, I guess depends on what you're printing. If you're printing a bunch of small things, it probably makes sense. But it also looks like one of those things that's you know, maybe you don't even use it after a while. I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm certainly having fun with it. Yeah, never use the scraper handle. That's kind of what I was expecting. But these, you know, to me, these are useful. And I definitely saw the humidity drop in the AMS as soon as I put those things in there. And I think, you know, it was kind of fun printing with a different medium, right? Trying that PC. I have some ASA. I want to try to learn the idiosyncrasies of the different plastics. Hey, Cooley. Made a lot of poop. Well, that's the thing. When I see how much, just whenever you load up and print a single color item, how much waste there is, I can only imagine. Whenever you're doing a multicolor print, and it has to, keep switching colors, especially when there's multiple colors on the same layer. That's got to just be crazy. Hey, Arnie. Yeah, you know what? We've been having our share of those thunderstorms. Hey, you know what woke me up last night? So, I woke up and I thought I heard this squeal. And it was like midnight. I was watching, have you guys watched the Spider Noir on Netflix yet? I just binged watched that over the course of the week. I like to find something like that, and I watch it when I'm trying to go to sleep. But that's the Nick Cage. It was pretty interesting, right? But anyhow, I'll come back to that. We'll put a pin in that. So I heard something. It sounded like a squeal. I thought, oh man, that sounds like a pig. That sounds like pigs outside. That's what I thought, Chris. And so, yeah, I thought so too, Mike. I thought it was pretty good. So I got up and opened the blinds and looked down into the yard, and I couldn't see anything, and I didn't hear anything else. So I thought, oh, I probably just imagined it, or maybe I was dreaming. And so tried to doze off to sleep again, and I heard something again. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I got up, put my shorts on, and grabbed a t-shirt and grabbed the 300 blackout. And it was crazy. I went out into the yard, and I don't know if it's because I was asleep and my eyes hadn't quite adjusted, but I couldn't see. Like, I thought I was seeing okay, like 30 yards in front of me, maybe even 20 yards in front of me. I thought I was seeing just fine. But I pulled up the thermal, and there was like 3 pigs that were within 20 yards of me, and then there was a scat of pigs back behind them. And I wasn't sure that there were even pigs out there, so I hadn't even put the magazine in the rifle yet. And so, I mean, they're right there. They are right there. And so I put the magazine in and, rack it. And of course, they squeal and they start to run off a little bit. But they didn't run off very far. I mean, they were way too comfortable. So I had a little bit of fun at about 12:30 last night. Yeah, it was I actually hadn't gotten after pigs in a little while, so, and they had been tearing up stuff kind of on the backside of the property. I keep seeing evidence of them, but I hadn't seen them close to the house or anything. But they got a little too close last night. There's a little less of them now. But yeah, back to the Spider Noir, the Nick Cage series. I was really pretty surprised. I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought it was also weird too. I mean, I had seen it, but I hadn't really heard anything about it, so I hadn't really paid much attention to it. But But the thing that was really odd is that there wasn't like Marvel stuff plastered all over. Right? I don't even think there was a mention. Now, I didn't pay attention to the, maybe somewhere buried in the credits, it said something about Marvel, but it didn't have like the normal branding around it. But, uh, and so when I first started watching it, I wasn't even, I'm like, how are they going to get away with this? Right? How are they getting away with this trademark issue? And then he, used the line very early in the first episode that, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm like, come on, this has got to be a Marvel thing. I watched it in black and white. I like old movies. And so, I watched it in black and white. And, I have to say, they did you could tell that there was some intention behind how they shot that film, right? To really lean into the noir concept. Now, there was a couple of times where the other thing I thought was really cool is how you can switch back and forth, rather quickly. You can you can change the color and it'll pick up right where you left off. And there were a couple of times when I really wanted to know what the color of the thing was on the screen. So I switched, but then I switched back. The first time I was really curious about it is when the Sandman was shown, right? Whenever they were first showing him, it wasn't clear to me. And like I said, I knew nothing about this. It wasn't clear to me if, was this supposed to be, and again, it was just weird the way it didn't have Marvel plastered all over it. Was this supposed to be like the Thing? Was this going to be the Hulk? Was this going to be something else? I wanted to see what color it was, right? Because it wasn't clear to me if it was going to be the, some other version of the Hulk or something. Spider is a Sony property. Oh, well, put it this way. I just didn't see, it didn't have the obvious branding around it. That's a good point. And that's why there's all those weird Spider-Man spin-offs. And this is probably the weirdest. And it's maybe one of the best. I really, really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. And I hope they come out with second season. Is that how that works, Tim? Yeah, I don't follow. I've never really understood how that happened, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. There's only 8 episodes. They're like 45-minute episodes, so it doesn't take you long to get through it. And they put a bow on it at the end, so if it didn't go to a second season, you don't feel like you're screwed, right? It's not a Firefly situation, right? They put a bow on it. So it's satisfying from that regard, but it would be nice. I don't know why I still have these on. It would be nice if they did come out with another season. I think they have folks locked up. I think I tried to do a little bit of Googling on it. It sounds like they did like a 2-season lockup on it or something. And it seems like it's pretty popular, so I would expect that they would be interested in doing it. All right, let's see. Sandman was a bad guy. Yeah, well, Sandman was like kind of a bad guy. I mean, I think most people would have considered him a bad guy. Moon Knight. Moon Knight was, I always liked the Moon Knight, the Moon Knight book. It was a good magazine. I liked that one. let's see here. So we're at midnight. Hey, it's midnight right now. I am hoping that maybe Tierney will join the stream at some point. That had done it. Now, what did I just do? All right, let me try something. Okay, I saw what done it. I understand what happened now. I understand how I'm turning that off. Yeah, there we go. Back in action here. But I'll mention it again here in case we have some new folks that joined. I picked the recipients of the Open Dark Sky devices. So we've got one from Bend, Oregon. So that's Tierney. Call sign KJ7NZZ. And then we also have one from Medina, Ohio. KC8YFO. So I don't know if any of those folks have joined the stream or are maybe on the stream. You guys are the lucky winners of these devices. I'll be reaching out to you tomorrow to get your shipping information, and I'll get those out in the mail to you guys. So congratulations. Let's see, 1 a.m. for Cooley. Yep. Yeah, that's true, Chris. The comics are kind of the cheat codes. So Medina, that's your neck of the woods. All right, Timmy, get some rest, buddy. Thanks for jumping on. I'm going to try to catch you on Sunday. I'm assuming, are you still doing your stream? I don't know if you have any Father's Day plans or anything. Try to catch you on Sunday if you're going to stream. All right, let's see. I don't know if I've got any other good topics for tonight. Let me take a quick look here. Oh, Tim, I didn't realize you had a tornado. So the part where you streamed from was spared. Well, that's good. Glad to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that that's close to your house, Tim. So hopefully you made out okay. I'm sure you'll talk about it. You'll talk about it some this weekend. I'll catch up with you. Yeah, I was unaware. I've been in my own work bubble here for most of the week, so I don't get my head out of my cocoon too frequently whenever work's like this. A few miles south. Well, that's good to hear. That is good to hear. Let's see. So what radio things am I playing with? So Chris, I just got that, here, let me grab it. I'll show this to you guys. All right, let me see here. What did I do with, there we go. So for the TX-500MP, I haven't even had much time to spend with this yet. I might take it with me to field day, just so I have a chance to make, I probably won't have a chance. I haven't even pulled it out of the box yet. So I got this, the Link 500, which is a hat that gives you a bunch of digital capabilities. This is version 2. And so I'm gonna probably spend some time with this on an upcoming stream just to show you guys. So this just plugs right in. Oh, let's see. Do I have to? I got to pull this, I think. Oh, and then I drop it. Well, I'll have to search for that. All right, so let's see. So there's, try to get it where you guys can see, right? So there's a hole for where the antenna goes through. You've got a couple DIN ports that pick up the ports on this. Then it just kind of pops down on there. I've got to find that that screw. I'm sure there's a way to tighten this on there. But it gives you a VFO up here, which this radio doesn't have. It gives you Bluetooth. It gives you a digital audio interface, a KISS TNC. Does a lot of really cool stuff. So this is kind of the next radio thing that I'm excited to play with. Really excited to play with. Oh, that's going to be hard to find. Oh, maybe not. I got part of it. So the other thing, when I was talking to Ed about this, the other thing that, let me see. He was going to add capability in firmware. He thinks he can do it in firmware. Now, this was talking at the Troll Pub at Hamvention. We were talking about configuring this so that it'll work with your regular standard old Bluetooth earbuds, which would be, it sounds like a silly thing, but you guys know it's really not. It's like next to impossible to get a ham radio to pair with regular earbuds. Yeah, so it just came in like a week ago, actually. I just haven't had enough time to spend with it. I really love these Lab599 products. I love, I've got the original, and it's kind of funny, right? So, the original, for the longest time, I had it sitting on this little HT stand. You guys have seen, you guys have seen these little HT stands, right? It's a nifty accessory, right? It just sits at an angle. You can put your HT on it. You can slip the clip over there if you want. For the longest time, I had that sitting right here on my desk. The original Lab599 Discovery. That's the model. I had it sitting on that, balanced on that, and I would just sit here and I mean, I've got three other radios, three other HF radios I could operate sitting at this desk, but for some doggone reason, that's the one I kept wanting to play with. I had a key hooked up to it. I was doing some practice, code practice on it, and it's just the one that I tended to play with. It's just a great little radio. I'll lay that. So these have an N connector on the radio, and so I've got the little N to BNC here, and they make that pass through, the antenna connector pass through, big enough for an adapter, which I guess that makes sense. It's right, the adapter is probably the same size as a regular connector, but it's just it's pretty well done. This thing is pretty slick. I mean, it's in a nice aluminum case. I don't think the other ones were silk screened. Maybe they were. Maybe I had just always seen kind of the pre-production versions. But this one looks great. And right, it's a nice metal case. It's not a 3D printed case or anything like that. Yeah, pretty slick. So this is something you guys will certainly be seeing here on a upcoming late shift, right? I want to hook it up and try to do some digital with this guy. Right? That's what this thing's all about. Gives you that digital capability. All right, let me take that off and slide it back on. This is the TX-500MP, Arnie. This is the manpack version. Right, this one's kind of a vertical form factor. I mean, it does, right? It's got the built-in Lab599 battery on the back, right? You can prop it up this way, but it's designed to be in a pack. And this is great because it just moves all the controls up to the top, so you don't care if all this stuff is buried. You've got all the controls right here. Right, so if you guys remember, the Discovery, the original version, is more of a horizontal with a really large screen. I'm sure you guys know what that looks like. Here, I'll pull it up just in case. Right, so there's the original, which I still love this radio. Right, a lot of people hate on it because it's got, connectors on both sides. Doesn't bother me. I just think it's a great little radio. I mean, I loved it so much. That's why when they came out with the MP version, I said, all right, I got to get one of those. The other thing that's cool is, well, let me go down. Let me see if I can find, and again, right, these things are all machined alloy, aluminum bodies. They're tough little radios. Let's see here. Where's the MP? And these guys are weird. Okay, here's the MP. So the MP comes with the battery, and this battery will also work on the Discovery. So that's also kind of a nice feature. Right, so here's like the smart battery pack. Right, you see how it can work with the Discovery. I haven't picked up one of these keys yet. That looks pretty convenient. At least it looks convenient on the Discovery. Doesn't really make sense on the MP though. Now, the one knock that some people have on this radio is that the speaker is in the mic, right? And so again, with this guy, you get Bluetooth capability. So you can go to a Bluetooth speaker or earbuds. Now, that was conceptual when we were at Dayton. I don't know if Ed got that far or not, but he said it's just firmware. The hardware is fully capable of it. He didn't expect that people would care about that, but he said, yeah, we can turn that on. So I'm curious to see if that's working. Let's see. Yep, you can 3D print stands like that. You absolutely can. This little stand here, though, right? This portion's just thin plastic. You know, this is where the magic is, right? This base is heavy. This is, you know what? Oh, I know it's magnetic because that's what you guys remember. This is the switch that comes out of these guys. Right? It's this heavy metal base is what gives you the stability. So yeah, you can 3D print that, but you know, you're not going to get that same type of stability without that heavy base. Yeah, this thing, right now I'm looking for the right pack for this. But yeah, you want to talk about a quick deploy, you know, and I think it's awesome, right? You pair it with your phone to do digital modes. You know, put a wire antenna up, pair it with your phone, do digital modes, weak signal. This thing should just be a banger. Stavros, welcome, buddy. Took a nap and going strong. Good for you. I haven't printed with magnets yet. No. Yeah, I haven't done anything like that, Chris. That's a level I've not yet achieved. The Maxpedition water bottle pack. Ah, that's the ticket, huh? Bill is another big fan of these. Bill's got something I don't have for these, which is the amp. That's something I've thought about, but I keep talking myself out of it. I love the cool factor of it, but you know, what I keep telling myself is these are ultra portable. Do I really need an amp with it? And you know, some days the answer is yes, some days the answer is no. Raging fan would be more accurate. There you go. And I'm sure Bill's going to tell me very quickly here why I'm thinking about that wrong. And yep, see, I spent the money on the amp. It's gone, and I don't regret buying it. Going to Overland East. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to go to that too. So we'll certainly have to sync up before that. I'm hoping we get a chance to get you on the channel here before too long again and talk about. I've been hinting here and there that you've got some really cool improvements coming, but I don't want to steal any thunder. So, yeah, 4 days of who knows what temperatures, right? Certainly can do that to you. But they'll have shower houses and stuff there, so it's all good. everybody's in the same boat too, so that's how that works. All right, let's see. What else do we have cooking here? Trying to see if I had anything else from my from any of my notes here. Oh, I know what I was. Let me see if I. All right, let me see. Where can I drop this so that it's easy to see? I guess I've got a list of. Well, let me look and see if this is. I don't know that I finished this. I've got a list of satellites that'll be active with their modes for AMSAT Field Day. I think I want to go through this one more time, but I'll post this. So if anybody wants a cheat sheet, so it lists the satellites that are active, the frequencies, along with any of their tones that are required, and any other details about working them, working the digital capabilities on those satellites. It doesn't look like it's quite done, though. I've got a little more work to do on that. Let's see, pre-orders. Lots of updates. Tuning BLE to be good. Scout with tuning, the internal 915 antenna, and GNSS works now. Nice. Nice. Well, you tell me when, maybe after we get past field day, let's see. We got to get past field day, get past the 4th of July. That's on a weekend this year, I think. I think it's on a Saturday this year. So people may be out of town for Friday or whatnot. So maybe like, let me see what else I've got July. And this month flying by. Yeah, so maybe like the third week, like the 17th. I don't know if that looks good for you, Stavros. Can pencil you in. That if you think that'll work, I'll send you a note and we can lock it up. If that's too far out too, just let me know. Going to Defcon August 7th. Okay, cool. Okay. I'll send you a note tomorrow for the 17th. We'll try to just verify that. Yeah, it'll be great to share some of those updates. Maybe you'll have a better idea of what timing looks like and such too. All right. Well, that's good. It's been a little while since we've had you on the channel here, so that'll be fun. All right, so I do not want to forget to find that daggone. I've got one more washer and a stud to find. Ah, I see. So this does come with a pack of hardware. I left that over. Did I leave that or did I bring it? I think I left it over there. Oh no, I brought it. Oh yeah. So they give you a bag of hardware here, and they actually have a replacement stud that is 2 inches long. I'll have to pull that other stud off it, so it's not a tragedy if I can't find that. I should be able to find it though. I can get the magnet out if I need to. But they do provide the hardware to go. You can see there's, let's see, we got a hole right there. We got a hole right here that will kind of go through this and go into the lugs in the radio itself so that that thing is solid. Doesn't go anywhere. Cool. Yeah, that really, I mean, that's looks good. It's a good profile. I dig it. All right, let's see. Stavros, you'll have to I'll have to pick your brain a little bit on some of your printing techniques as well. I just got my 3D printer not that long ago, and still trying to learn the finer details. I mean, I can pick anything and just print it as is, but I'm trying to figure out how to get those silky smooth prints, those really good looking prints. You have some great ones. Or for like your PoE node and those types of things. Those all look really great. So I've got the P1S, I've got the Bambu P1S, and I've been trying all the different filaments. So I've been printing some stuff with PLA, some PETG, carbon fiber, some PC. This weekend here, I'm probably going to play with some ASA. So I want to figure out how to print some of those more difficult mediums a little bit better. Seems like the PLAs just kind of do their thing. But it's some of those other ones that require a bit more finesse. I've always thought the things I've seen that you print are really nice. Yeah, that's all I've been using is the Bambu Lab stuff. All right, Arnie, thanks for hanging out, buddy. Arnie, if you're doing field day next week, enjoy, have fun. You're looking forward to hear how people make out with field day. Yeah, so so next week's stream, we'll probably do an abbreviated stream from the cabin. Just do something short, check in with folks, see what's going on. Usually the default speeds are too fast. So slow it down. Gotcha. Yeah, whenever I did the PC stuff, I really slowed it down quite a bit, especially that first layer. I read somewhere that you really want to, go slower. It helps with the adhesion on that first layer. And then, overall, I kept the print pretty slow. And I was pretty happy with the quality of that. It wasn't too bad. I'd done a little bit of work to kind of preheat the the interior of the space. I turned up the bed just a little bit. The plate, I think I went up five degrees from the profile, and then I also went up just a little bit on the nozzle as well. But you know, I guess it's a lot of trial and error. I'm just trying to reduce the amount of trial and error. The other thing that I noticed on like some of the larger prints that I've done, and this might be what you're talking about, with the speed comment, is there's like just little like a little pock mark, like on a wide like a wide wall, right, where you have a lot of filament. There's like just these really fine pock marks here and there. And I don't know what causes that. And it looks like it might actually even be in the model, but I don't know if that's a real artifact that's going to show up on the model or not. Print and PC FR, okay. Yeah, I haven't tried any of that yet. Oh, interesting. Whenever I'm in my slicer, it says that, you know, whenever I printed that, I was like under 10%. I don't know how accurate that is. That's in the AMS2. So I'm not real sure how accurate those readings are. Right now I've added some desiccant, and it says I'm at 4%. Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, I've been dry. So I've been using the AMS2 to do the drying, and I don't, you know, it seems to. I guess I don't know. I mean, it seems the humidity goes down in the AMS whenever I dry that. Whether it's doing a good enough job or not, I'm not sure. Like when I did that first larger print, I did dry it for 12 hours, and that I printed in PLA matte, that charcoal matte. Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. So you need to be continuing to kind of run that drying or that heat process at the same time that it's printing, ideally. Gotcha. And so you're using, let me see, where'd you say you did that? The Sunlu filament heater. Yeah, I was actually drying the PET G, but I was getting ready to print something in PLA, so I just threw it in there since it was going to be hung up and doing the deal for 12 hours anyhow. Maybe that's not a smart thing to do. I don't know. If I recall, no, that's not what I did, because I was concerned because I think it dries. The AMS says it's going to dry PET G at 65 degrees. And so I think I was worried about the PLA getting soft. But I'm still early in it. Keep printing stuff, and hopefully I'll keep learning along the way. Well, gang, I think we may have hit the end of the stream here. Draw the same types of filament at the same time. That makes sense. Makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you out there, buddy. So when you say the power cable, I think I've got that, Chris. I've got I mean it's got its own power brick. Is that what you're talking about? We'll see you, Cooley. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Have a good weekend. Have a good Father's Day. Enjoy. Yeah, it came with the AMS Pro. It came whenever I bought my kit, Chris, it came with it. So, and I'm using it because I was kind of confused by it whenever I first put it together, because you know, you've got the cable that goes between the AMS and the printer, and that seemed to be powering it. But then I had this power brick that was left over, and actually you can't run the heater at all without that power brick. So you have to have that plugged in to get the power, or to get that thing running. Yep. Yeah, so I've got both of those hooked up. I'm curious to see how the ASA stuff prints. All right. Well, gang, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. For all you dads out there, happy Father's Day. I have got a lot of work to do around the ranch this weekend. We're gonna cut up some trees tomorrow. I think I'm gonna wait. We got a big dose of rain, so I'll probably wait and mow on Sunday. We're gonna go do a dinner on Sunday, so it's gonna be a little bit busy this weekend. But rather have it busy than not. I've got a couple of videos I'm working on. Hopefully I'll get at least one of those to a point where I'll be able to get it out the door here before I head out for field day. And other than that, it'll just be trying to work in some radio where I can. I've got some work to get ready for field day too, just to make sure I've got all my gear together, make sure I've got all my antennas together, make sure I've got the food together. So it's going to be a busy weekend. So for you folks that have a big field day ahead of you, make sure you do some planning and some work this weekend, because that week flies by. It certainly does for me. I'm sure it does for you guys too. So, but thanks for hanging out, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. 7-3.